pushing my 3D text away when I want it to come here more. Is that bringing it closer or further away? Okay, yeah. Okay, so right, I think I'll have to make do with this just so that this video doesn't take like 15 days to do. So what I want to do now is I'm probably going to add the shadow now. So to add the shadow, just press Ctrl Y again to add just a shortcut to add a new solid. So make it black because it is going to be shadow. Actually, you might as well make it the kind of bluey kind of shadow we've got going here. Probably just a little bit darker, maybe something like this, just to save even more time. So I'm just going to turn the opacity down. Like I still want to be able to see this layer. Just not as much, right? Okay, so now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to draw what I think the shadow is going to look like. So the text is pretty high up right now, so I'm just going to go down here. It's probably going to hit maybe somewhere like here because it is pretty close to the camera, and the 3 as well. Going to probably hit somewhere like here, and the shadows are all going this way, but because the text does kind of go in a bit, probably go here, somewhere like here, and then maybe move this one here. What you can do is then press Ctrl R to bring up the rulers and just drag from the top here to bring down a ruler, and just make sure your shadows are like even, otherwise they'll be like less believable because shadows are kind of nicely ruled out. They don't just take the piss and do whatever. So just advise you guys not to take the piss and do whatever, even though it is like a 5-minute render. just just still get it done right the first time, because you never know what might happen with a cracked version of Elements. So, and just move that there. Right, so now that that's looking right, I'm probably going to drop the text to where I want it to be. So to do that, just get the null object again, and I think this is the Y here. I'm pretty sure it's the Y. I'm just gonna move that. Yeah, that's the Y there. So I just need to move it the other way. I think 100 probably get the job done. Yeah, 100 looks good. Now my shadow looks like it's way too close to the screen for where the text is. So if I put that about here, and you can see here I'm on a quarter, and I am recording and I am using a laptop, so it is really it's not going to be this slow for anyone using like a powerful desktop thing. It's not going to be anywhere near this slow. Like I am using a quarter and you can still see the horrible pixels, but keep in mind I am recording this as I'm going, and recording alone like lags laptops like it's nothing else. So I'm actually not going to try to be too precise here or anything, simply just to keep the video down. So now I'm going to just make the layer 3D, the layer for the shadow, and you can see it got a lot smaller, which is alright. I'll just bring the scale up, and I'm going to parent it. So just take the pig width thingy and parent it to the null object created by the original thing, by the original camera track. Because this isn't like an element shadow or anything like that, I still do need to parent the thing here. So now I just need to take the scale and bring it all the way back up. Oops, let me still leave it on the screen somewhere. I can still see it. Where the hell is it gone? Somewhere behind there. So let me go with 33%. I'll drag it back onto the screen. Okay, maybe still too big, so move it down. It's probably too far down. So maybe something like 260 here, and then I'll bring it back. Yeah, back around there. Okay, so now we can start making the shadow look more like it's actually from the text by darkening it up a little bit. And just press F here to start feathering it. Okay, yeah, that'll probably have to do for this tutorial here. And I will let you guys know something, that press Control R then to get rid of the rulers again. Um, the actual layer at the moment, like the shadow layer, like it won't move or anything like that, but that's kind of a problem as well. If I go to the very start here, you see that it's not moving, but it's also not moving at the same time. The actual, like, when the shadow is being cast at the start, the shadow should be like this way or something like that, just like that. Now you can get around this obviously by just animating the mask path, so it's not a big problem or anything like that. But I just I just say you won't even need to do that, especially if you're going to animate your 3D text. Like, no one's going to be paying attention to the shadow. As long as it's there, it's there. So you're not even going to, like, I didn't do that with the examples I showed you. I don't know if you caught on to that, but I didn't do that at all. And because the text was really high up and I didn't have the shadow showing, you couldn't really see that the shadow was really messed up. I didn't even take a long time doing that shadow, so I probably still could have gotten a better result without animating the mask path. But if you do want to animate the mask path, I will show you how to do that. You just go here, and because I drew my shadow from the end frame, I'm going to animate the mask path at the end frame because I want it to be still there, and then I'm going to move to the very first frame, and then I would put the shadow, like, I'm moving the whole shadow there when I'm only meant to move a little bit. Uh, okay, so I actually paused the video there because I had to answer the phone. And I actually saw that the running time of this is 35 minutes already. So this is gonna be more than a two-parter. We're probably looking at 3 parts if I'm lucky, and 4 parts if you guys are unlucky. But back to the actual tutorial, and it's probably best to keep doing the actual tutorial rather than making like gay small talk. Um, move the anchor point to where you think the text would have started. Like started where like the shadow would have probably started forming from, and then just like really hope for the best, hope that it actually like moves nicely along and plays well. It should really, there's no reason why it shouldn't. Like, it should be enough to like fool a person. Like, it is only 3D text at the end of the day. You don't need to like make something ridiculously like believable. So as long as it's like slightly believable, which I think this will be, like, I don't even think I should render this out. I should have just skipped to like a keyframe every now and again, just have checked if it moved along nicely, and by the looks of it, it did. So I'm going to move on to the actual animating of the text. But even saying this, this is only a 3-parter. This is probably like part 3 of this video by now. I'm probably like slightly in on part 3. But even at part 2, I had already had the 3D text staying still. So most of you guys probably only needed to watch that amount. You probably would have figured out how to do the shadow. Like, even now, it's probably finished. This tutorial really is finished as far as 3D text goes. It is finished. So all we're doing now is animating the 3D text. So, like, most of you guys probably could figure out how to do that, but I am going to add it in anyway. And again, same thing with the shadow here. What you want to go to is you want to go to the very end of the cinematic, because you probably made your text look nice at the end. So I'm going to go to the very end, and I'm noticing here the shadow is actually not that great at the end, but I'm not going to worry about that. You guys can spend some more time and fix that up. But because I'm recording and the thing is just really laggy, I'm not going to bother with that. So what you want to do to change the to animate the text, sorry, is that if you know you're going to be moving the text up, keyframe the position of the null object you created when you were moving the text into position. Like the null object that I used to move the text back and forth was this null object. I probably should have told you guys to name the null object, but they're already named track null and null. So whichever null object is just called null, move that one, and or sorry, not move that one, keyframe that one, just to make sure it's at the same spot you were happy with at the very start. And I want my text to probably start from kinda high up. So remembering that this is the Y, probably let's move it to like what, 600? See, 600. Yeah, and if you can see, it moves the shadow, which is perfectly fine as well. You'll cheat that as well. You cheat a lot of things here. In fact, you actually wanted to move with the shadow just to make sure nothing weird happens with your shadow. So yeah, that's looking fine there. Okay, so now to put the shadow back, um, let me see here. That's looking fine there. To put the shadow, make sure nothing funny is going on here. To put the shadow back onto the ground here, all you want to do really is just keyframe it, like keyframe the shadow, and then just like take a guess. Sorry, I'm moving it up here. I said 600 before, so it should be like something like maybe, hold on a second here. It should be something like 600 out of that. Should be something like maybe 700. My shadows kind of disappeared here. This tutorial is starting to be a lot more difficult than it should have been. Wherever the hell that shadow's now gone off to. Seeing as I've kind of lost my shadow, I'm just going to press Ctrl Z to undo. Okay, so now to put the shadow back onto the ground, I'm still going to keyframe the position, but rather than mess around with the number, I'm going to just move the thing down to like close to where the shadow is at the end, so that now when I move to like here, oh yeah, I know what's going on here, sorry guys. When I keyframed it here, what I should have also done is gone to the end, sorry, and keyframed it there. I created the keyframe at the end there, sorry about that. That was just me being an idiot and making the tutorial take a lot longer than it really needs to. Hold down shift when you're moving the shadow down, just to make sure it moves down in a straight line. And then what you end up with is kind of like the shadow like appearing to stay on the ground all the time. Like this won't need to be perfect, because when the text is really high up, the shadow will be kind of like, I might as well do that now actually. Press T to take the opacity and keyframe the opacity at the end, since you are happy with that, and then move to the very start and probably put it at, let's put it at